53 miles for 53 years. That's 5.3 miles for 10 straight days. After work, rain or shine. 3 days are done. Now we travel to Jackson County for day 4.
Oh, made it to the top. Now that didn't take long to get up here, but I will tell you it's one of the harder climbs I've done. The only saving grace was how short it was. Several points along the way I had to put the trekking poles in one hand and just grab onto rocks and trees. And this does get traveled a fair bit. You can't see how steep that is. It's probably around a 60-degree pitch, and at times it's straight up. It's been traveled enough that people have worn footholes into and steps into the sandstone, which helps a lot. And this awesome wonder that's called Saddle Mound is really simply a sandstone prominence in northern Jackson County, but at 1,412 feet, it is Jackson County's highest peak. It rises over 430 feet above the surrounding area. And situated in the Jackson County forest, it borders the Black River State Forest just on the other side of Highway 54. And it's part of a large amount of public land. Nearby Wildcat Mound, though not as high, has more acreage, and it also boasts hiking, skiing, and mountain bike trails. There's also, all throughout this area, a large series of ATV and snowmobile trails. There's an established state forest campground, as well as several spots where you can get off the road, gravel or pavement, and find yourself in a primitive camping area where it's not likely anyone's going to bother you. Quarries on the side of the mound here were companions to the whole timber harvesting up until 1894. And then when all the timber was harvested, the quarries, they determined they were played out as well. Difficult to see through the vegetation, but down there is an old quarry. Notice how the rocks are cut at certain levels. If we were to go down there, we'd get into a jumble of old worn sandstone boulders. Narrow gauge rail had run up the south slope, which we just came up, and was connected to a rail spur to send out the cut stone. There's still remnants of the horse and wagon track that had run up to the summit. We can see that if we go a particular direction down here. This mound remained untouched until the fire tower, this bad boy, was built in the 1930s, along with the numerous towers throughout Wisconsin at the time. The tower was decommissioned only 6 years ago in 2016, and as you can see, it still stands today. Saddle Mound, you find it along the side of a highway. This is about as everyday as you can get. There you go. Made it to the very southern tip of this peak called Saddle Mound. It's not what I expected. I expected a cone-shaped mound. You go up one side and possibly go down the other. I knew there were a couple of different approaches. I took the hardest one, but as it turns out, this is is kind of a U-shaped mound that just kind of goes like this from the southeast or northwest down to the southeast where I'm at right now, with the biggest peak being almost due south on the U. Very interesting. A little bit of bushwhacking you get up to this point, but there's a footpath that just winds up and down along this very, very narrow ridge that is Saddle Mound. I couldn't have asked for a better day. It's getting a little overcast now, but it's mostly sunny, 78 degrees with I'd call it a wind, a little more than a breeze. It's actually very beautiful. Humidity's low. I'm loving it. There's another path down here that drops down to the southwest. I'm not going to take that today. We'll save that for another trip here. I'm going to go back the way we came and take the wagon trail down and see if there's any more historical things we can find. And yep, that is the trail. That is not alongside the trail. That is the trail. There are points along here where you're ditching the trekking poles and using your hands and feet to clamber up short rock faces. A lot of these ups and downs along the ridge here are short but steep, and it can be a little taxing if you're in poor physical condition like I am. I would say especially the route that I took getting up, if you have serious cardiac issues that are not well managed, I'd just walk the wagon trail up to the summit and call it a day. This is a somewhat challenging trail. Got old short posts here. I'm guessing this was at one time a parking area. Doesn't seem to go anywhere. Well, it looks very much like an old parking area. And about 2 miles later, a little over, we're right back where we started our climb up. Well, it looks like north of here, up on the north side of the mound, there is a kind of parking area and a trail leading up from that. And well, nobody said these hikes had to be a contiguous 5.3 miles, so we're at 2.88 right now, back at the car, and I'm gonna head up. It's less than a mile. Head up to that lot and check it out. I was able to check the weather radar, and there is a 100% chance of rain, probably within the next 45 minutes. So there's a good chance we may have to deploy our rain deflection device. All right, let's go find some more adventure. There you go, it goes up. And this is day 4 of 10, and I've already done some ups. I think I'm gonna save this for another trip to come up this direction. Find one of these, see the path goes off that way. I'm gonna follow that, see what happens with that. There was another one, maybe 100 yards back, not quite. So we'll see what we can find with those. And it dead ends in what is very likely a camping or a hunting spot. But as a camping spot, this would be great. The main 2-track comes in, almost any car can make it, and it's not far before you hit this spot. And then this is an easy walk, very easy walk in. Got a place for your main camp, There's some excellent tent sites to be made right back here. Yeah, this would be an okay free camping spot. That's all, folks. It completely runs out here. A little bit of bushwhacking following a very faint footpath till it died out from our free camping spot. Crossing over to the east, rose up over this little bump. And looky what I have down here. Another little ATV trail. And we're gonna go down to that, take a left to head north. That should go out to the road. Circle the road back, see what kind of mileage we're at. It's kind of fun. I've just got miles to make. I don't feel like climbing. Undergrowth in here is very sparse, so it's made it really easy to follow a direction and just kind of bebop around. Pretty cool. Just got to watch for ticks. Very quickly, this went from something that was jeepable to something that you could get an ATV down to a footpath. I have a feeling this won't make it to the road. This is going to dead end somewhere. These are recent, and the width is a car or a truck width. And you'll see they're bent going that way. Came in and stopped right here. And then had to go in reverse until he could find a turnaround spot. All right, yeah, it dead ends at that parking area right where I'm parked, right by the road. Hit 4 miles right on the button. I have 1.3 miles to go. Wonder where that goes. Yeah, this fly-ridden 2-track keeps going. I've been on it for not quite a half mile now. I'm going to turn around, start making my way back. It is straight as an arrow, just keeps going. Probably an old logging access road is my guess. It's wide enough to be jeepable. You'd probably want all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, but there are places where the trees are overhanging a little too much that you'd damage your car pretty well. Scrape it up, scratch it up. If you had a rack on top, you'd catch it in branches. So this is an ATV trail, and a cool one at that. There we go. And there's the car. That worked out pretty well. I had to go back and forth a little bit. Oh, day 4 is done. Wow, 5.3 miles right on the button. Yeah, I had to do a little back and forth on the road. That's okay. That's okay. Oh boy, you know, we went all over the place. Made it up Saddle Mound. I just was not ready to go up it a second time. That'll be another day. But I'll tell you what, this area out here, the Black River State Forest, we're on Jackson County Forest at the moment. This just never ceases to be a fun place to go. There are gravel roads, paved roads, ATV trails, hiking trails, snowmobile trails, 2-tracks. Choose your own adventure. Old logging roads, and I've done a lot of them. I walked through swamps. You know, there's always something to lift your spirit and challenge your body out here. Yep. All right. Tomorrow. There in the distance, probably about 15 miles away, is Saddle Mound. One of the great things about tent camping is waking up to this. It's also one of the worst things about tent camping. Waking up an hour and a half before you're ready to this. Oh, these climbs are going to be a bit challenging this morning, it appears. Good morning, trekkers. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. It's about 7:22 a.m. Sun is up. It's a beautiful day out. 62 degrees right now. I woke up to fog and 58 and the chirping of birds and woke up a little too early. Last night was the local fireworks for the 4th of July festivities. And as it's been written, I'm afraid we were up quite late making merry. And I'm exhausted. For those of you following along, this is day 5 of the 53 miles for 53 years. And today, we are up in Clark County, Wisconsin at the Levis-Troll Mound Trail System. This is a fantastic place for mountain biking mostly, but also hiking, skiing, and snowshoeing. Winter, summer, spring, fall, this is a beautiful, beautiful place to be. You can see that it is dominated by these small peaks. And yesterday on day 4, we were down a little bit south of here at Saddle Mound, another prominent peak. I forget what they call these peaks. There's a name to it. I just can't remember. But what's special about them is that they actually stayed above the ice sheets at the edge of the last glaciation. So what you see here was actually formed and untouched largely by the last glaciation. And it makes them a refuge for plants, smaller animals to survive the glaciation, and they help speed up the recovery of the ecosystem as the sheets retreated. That's kind of cool. A little weird, but kind of cool. I like it. Hey, today, again, we're going to hit for 5.3 miles. Despite having been on these trails 8, 9, 10 times, I still don't have them memorized. And as you can see from this little area right here where 5 trails all come in at the same point, I typically don't know where I'm going. So we're going to do a little bit of wandering. That's not unusual for us, is it? So let's get to it. Well, let's take a look at a map, shall we? So we started right here. This is where we did our opening interview, and we are sitting right here. I'd like to try to follow the Troll Trail out to this point and see what kind of mileage we're at. This is a neat little spot in here. This gets a little warm sometimes, but also right in here, you can see this is interesting, you can see the elevation lines and how they're wider, meaning it's flatter, as opposed to here where there's a peak. This is a swamp, and many times that can be quite wet. It probably won't be today, but I don't know. I end up going there a lot, so I think this is where we want to go today and see where our mileage is at. Timber management plays a critical role in the health of Clark County forests, and it's not just about a money grab for timber. This selective cutting here, and yes, this is a selective cutting, is absolutely vital for the revitalization of proper forest coverage. Without this selective cutting and prescribed burns, this forest would be a tangle of invasives that would completely alter the ecosystem. Alright, so we're at point 6. I did not follow the Troll Trail for very long before I dipped down to the lower Hermosa. because why not? And but now we're gonna try to continue to follow the Flatlander Trail, as it's called. Ooh, that sounds easy. And make it out to point 8. My hour of quiet in the morning on the trail is rapidly coming to an end. Thoroughly enjoyed the woods this morning. The sun coming up, birds were chirping. It's nice and cool, although very humid. You can hear the ATVs. The people have woken up. The deer are too fast for me this morning to catch them on film. I've had a few cross the trail on me here, and so are the runners. We had our first person on the trail sighting just a couple minutes ago. A young lady goes running by. She is on video and doesn't know it. And I'm sure to her, walking out here, I look like someone prepped for a multi-day expedition. And yet I can tell you, I'm pretty confident she's going to run this morning as far or farther than I'm going to walk all day. And I will be more tired at the end of it than she will be. It's all a matter of perspective, trekkers. It really is. I think of younger days. That's an important key, is to not let yourself be dismayed, disappointed. I can't think of the right word, but get out here and make sure that you meet your adventure where you're at, not where somebody else on YouTube is at. Draw inspiration, but sweat your own perspiration. How's that? Now, if you're a mountain biker, is this not cool? They got a little side trail here. Look what they did. And there you go. We made it to point 8. And we ended up kind of going off on this one, just because on the other side of the road there are more trails. But this is our turnaround point. I think we will head back. Scratch that. I'm here. I'm doing this. Mound Bounder, here we come. Okay, so we started from here, and this really truly is a mound bounder. Probably 4 different ups and downs along here, and we are now down here. This is where we cut off to go on the Wolf Run. We're back to here, we'll go back to here, and then make our way back. We just hit 4 miles, so I think we'll hit 5.3 right around the time we hit the parking lot. I try not to video other people, particularly without their consent. Sometimes in public here it happens, but 2 bicyclists just came by, and if you guys ever sit back and chuckle at me, not know where I'm going, taking the wrong turn, and they came cruising through here, and the lead rider says, "Wait, this doesn't look familiar. Is this the route we came back on? I don't know. I think we're lost." Oh, we missed it by just a little bit, but there we are. And here we are. Still a little bit to go to the car yet. Okay, so I was a little bit further away from the trailhead than I thought. Get back there. Yep, all's good. Again, day 5. Tomorrow is Eau Claire.
The plan had been to make this a rustic road hike. There had been some side plans for a 13-mile hike on gravel roads through two different wildlife areas. Today's plan, though, was a shortened version of all of that. I arrived earlier than I had expected and waited for Saunters at the parking lot of Coon Forks County Park. While waiting, I discovered the park had a sizable system of hiking and biking trails, and quickly came up with a plan B that I hoped would work out. Saunters would know. Saunters had warned me about this place. He arrived and he brought with him Waka Waka, another of our well-loved trail brothers. An amazing surprise. We shuttled and began our walk. A peaceful, beautiful walk that, well, Saunters will tell you all about it.
Coon Forks Campground, located in Eau Claire County, Wisconsin, is a hidden gem of a place that we have been going to as a family for 20 plus years, and my in-laws have been going for quite a few more than that. It's a wonderful county park located on a non-motorized lake with a campground on one side and a county park on the other. County Park has a fishing pier, multiple hiking trails, and a beach with a playground for families to enjoy. The campground offers 108 sites, most of which are lakeside, and some of which are the interior loop, all with wonderful green space in between and for a private camping experience. I highly recommend going to this campground or just visiting the area and hiking or cross-country skiing the many trails.
People don't like, there's a fishing pier that's down a little ways, and my kids used to fish on that, and they'd fish there all day, and maybe you'd see one or two other people that walk down there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a big deer for a doe.
Whether we've had just a day to enjoy the county park side of the lake and take the kids to the beach, or allow them to fish from the fishing pier and just have a nice picnic with the family, or the long weekends and weeks spent at the campground where you enjoy the campground's private beach and canoeing and kayaking up and down the river that flows into the dammed up lake. We've witnessed a lot of wildlife along the way, bears with cubs along the river, and a lot of good fishing opportunities along the shorelines and little inlets that make up this beautiful sanctuary of a place. We've enjoyed many a camping weekend with close friends that we brought up from the city to enjoy a long weekend away, as well as my kids have gone there for long weekends of one-on-one time with Grandma and Grandpa. So it's a special place that has a lot of special memories for me and my family alike. I hope you can find your way to this hidden gem and enjoy it as well, whether it's just for a day or for a nice long weekend.
Horses.
Amish.
Ah.
And how heavy it'll get, and see if it'll stay on me. Because I've never hiked in it.
Second day of equipment failures, but there we are. And here we are.
The last 3 days took us further from home and into a unique and often overlooked part of Wisconsin. Jackson County showed us its heights. Clark County took us along well-worn paths. Eau Claire County brought hiking brothers back into the past. 4 more days remain. We're back home for those hikes where we'll meet some other hiking friends and do battle with typical July weather.